I've been waiting for one of these for over 800 miles.
Oh, you're bad.
Blackberry milkshakes from Big Meadows. I have always loved collecting national park stamps, and my AT passport book was the perfect place to add some stamps from Shenandoah. It's week 14 on the Appalachian Trail, and we are still in Shenandoah National Park and loving every single moment that we get to spend in this beautiful spot, even though it's been a rainy few days. But honestly, rainy days aren't as bad when you're hiking through Shenandoah because of all of the amazing waysides. And we actually stopped twice on this rainy day. We stopped at Big Meadows, and then for dinner, we stopped at the beautiful, stunning Skyland Resort. Just look at this view out the windows. Both of these stops were a really nice reprieve to get out of the rain and to enjoy a nice, warm, not dehydrated meal for the night. And even though I honestly like the Wayside's burgers better than Skyland Resort's, nothing tastes like warm food on a rainy day. And Barbie's mess all over the damn table. Look at this. A heathen. What do you have to say for yourself, heathen? I had remembered reading about the Stony Man Summit and how amazing either the sunrise or the sunset is. I can't remember which one. And although I had never been there for sunrise or sunset, we tried. This spot was just absolutely stunning. I mean, look at this view. So whether you ever get to see it for sunrise or sunset, or you just get to ever walk up and look at the view, it is absolutely beautiful. And yeah, I'll never get tired of looking at these Blue Ridge Mountains. I will say that although I absolutely loved Shenandoah and its views, that on Shenandoah, for some reason, the views you see more civilization. And I do like the Blue Ridge Parkway, I think, a little bit better, only because I can't see as many civilization. I just like to see the mountains. And although I absolutely loved this view, my favorite part was probably that little water feature down there in the rocks, along with the view. It is day 5 in Shenandoah National Park. Yesterday, it was really rainy and wet and foggy, but we managed to stop at the Big Meadows Wayside for lunch and got a burger and a milkshake. Those blackberry milkshakes are to die for. And then we hiked another 10 miles over the day and stopped at Skyland Resort for dinner. So we were able to eat real non-dehydrated food twice yesterday. Excuse me while I trip and do this. But yeah, so it was both hard to leave both those waysides because of the rain, obviously. But today the weather is cool, the sun is shining, and I think it's about our second to last day in Shenandoah. So we're gonna do some blue blazes today and enjoy the after storm views and beautiful weather. So we've had an awesome time in Shenandoah, and it'll be sad to leave, but fun to keep going and hit Harpers Ferry and the 1,000-mile mark. So I've been out on the trail for almost 3 months now, and it's still hard to fathom that I'm about to hit the 1,000-mile mark, and that these little old legs of mine that started in Georgia in March have almost walked 1,000 miles. Like, my brain just can't really process that I've walked that far, because each day you're just walking, like, for us, about 10 to 17 miles at this point, and it just, yeah, it all adds up, but day to day it doesn't seem that bad. And it's just wild to me that, and I'm so grateful that my body has been able to carry me up and over these mountains. Our bodies truly are so much more capable than we give them credit for. They are so powerful, and they can do hard things if we just give ourselves the chance to do them. As we started to get closer to Harpers Ferry and finishing up Shenandoah, I was getting a little bit emotional in a good way. Reaching Harpers Ferry, a place that I had dreamed about reaching for so long, was such a vital moment for my time on trail. Almost to the end of Shenandoah. It was 6 years ago when I first started dreaming about thru-hiking the Appalachian Trail, and 4 years ago I was an intern at Harpers Ferry National Historical Park. But before Harpers Ferry, a few more miles. Leaving Shenandoah! It's been beautiful, but onwards to Harpers Ferry. Hiking the AT is not always glamorous. Sometimes you get a view of a dirty ass fence. The view beyond it is pretty. But we get to see the fence.
The Smithsonian Conservation Biology Institute. That's what that is.
But before officially leaving Virginia and entering West Virginia, we were in Front Royal. This town was honestly super adorable, and they had this partnership of businesses that worked together to make some facilities available to hikers. A partnership between Vibrissa Brewing, Mountain Trails, Down Home Comfort Bakery, and Vinova Wine and Tapas. We were so grateful to have somewhere to do laundry and a shower for free, which was super duper amazing. And besides getting to wash our stinky Shenandoah clothes and wash our stinky selves, we were able to support these wonderful small businesses, and the food and the baked goods were to die for. And we know that because I was treats, before I even went to eat real food, I was in the bakery scoping out my treat. And after looking in the pastry case, I was so excited to see that they offered hummingbird cake, which is one of my favorite cake flavors, so I had to have it. This is the coolest mural I've ever seen. Look at these woodpeckers. They're so cute. We are officially out of Shenandoah, and you know, since we left, it's been a little bit interesting. In Shenandoah, I cracked one of my poles. You can see that one has gray tape on it, so they were along for a ride. And today in Front Royal, I found these in a hiker box, and I'm using them until I can get a replacement for my other one, my broken one. And I'm carrying both because I wanted to put them back in a hiker box and in case somebody needed to. So I'm using both. And then last night, after leaving Shenandoah and camping outside the park, my sleeping pad got a hole in it. So we tried to repair it at like 10 o'clock, but it still sank by the morning. So we're gonna repairing that. But other than that, we went into Front Royal today, and we went to Base Camp, which is like a partnership between Vibrissa Brewing and the bakery, Down Home Bakery, and somebody else. But it's really cool, and they offer free laundry and showers to thru-hikers. Oh, and it's also a partnership between the outfitter, Mountain Trails. So yeah. Oh, sorry, I'm going uphill. But yeah, Front Royal was pretty awesome. We resupplied, and we got showers and laundry and food, of course. And yeah, so it was a good little stop. But got some little hiccups as we head into the 1,000-mile mark in Harpers Ferry. Like the trekking poles and my sleeping pad and this freaking hill. But we are almost to 1,000 miles, almost to Harpers Ferry, almost halfway, and we are still trekking along. So we got this. Raised rhinoceros on the Appalachian Trail. I don't know why I always loved these little bridges that cross the tiny creeks on the trail, but it was always so fascinating how much work and effort that they went into to build these little tiny creek crossings. And honestly, it would feel even more important to me later on down the trail. As every step we took led us closer to the 1,000-mile mark and to Harpers Ferry National Historical Park, my emotions ebbed and flowed between being so excited and grateful, and to also just feeling emotional in general.
Hi, buddy. Hi, buddy. Hi, little buddy.
We are apparently going through Sky Meadows State Park. Cool. Time for the awaited roller coaster. Time to have a great ride. What are you gonna yell as you go up and down the hills, Barbie? Woo! All right, here we go. As we ride the roller coaster, I was just craving a nice cold Gatorade and some sweet human Left trail magic. Whoever did this, thank you. Whoops, we appreciate it. I'm gonna pick up the lid. We made it 1,000 miles.
What would you have done differently?
Hitting the 1,000-mile mark was still surreal. Like, it still didn't feel like we had gone 1,000 miles. And what made it even sweeter is that we reached that marker with friends, and we got to share in that celebration of reaching that marker with them. And of course, we loudly played and sang Vanessa Carlton's 1,000 Miles song. Shortly after the 1,000-mile mark, we reached Bears Den Trail Center and Hostel, and we had heard that this was a pretty iconic spot, and I wanted to see if they had a cool stamp for my Appalachian Trail passport book, and we just decided to go check it out. While the stone architecture was absolutely stunning and the grounds itself were beautiful, the hostel and everything didn't look like it would have been my favorite place to stay, but I'm glad that we got to stop by this iconic spot on the trail. And our not lingering long at Bears Den meant that we found this cool little hidden gem dining spot called Horseshoe Curve that was not far from the Bears Den overlook portion of the Appalachian Trail. The food was delicious, and it was a nice reprieve from all the day hikers who kept asking us how to get back to the parking lot they parked at. Almost heaven, West Virginia. All right, we are in West Virginia, another state down. Woo! 550 miles of Virginia. It was beautiful, and I really didn't have the Virginia blues. I had bad days, but had bad days in every state. So Virginia, love ya. West Virginia, we're excited. I was so excited to finally reach West Virginia and to know that we were so close to Harpers Ferry that I could almost touch it. The Blackburn Trail Center in Virginia. This place is like a little slice of heaven. Showers, outdoor showers, places to tent, and we got food. But still, we had a little ways to go before Harpers Ferry, and we continued to weave in and out of Virginia and West Virginia, and we stopped at the Blackburn Trail Center, and it was amazing. So I definitely recommend stopping there if you're ever nearby. But then the next morning we were on our way, and it was really hot, so of course, when I saw this gas station, I had to have a little ice cream cookie snack. Hiker trash at its finest. We're entering Harpers Ferry! And then it finally happened. We crossed the line and found the sign that said we were entering Harpers Ferry. I've been thinking about this moment since I worked here 4 years ago. We're going to Harpers Ferry! I know I've shared this story before, but 4 years ago, I was an intern at Harpers Ferry National Historical Park, and on my weekends, I would volunteer at the Appalachian Trail Conservancy, and I have dreamed of this moment and reaching this place on the trail since then, and there's no words to describe how much this means to me. Harpers Ferry! Here we come! When I wasn't volunteering at the ATC on my weekends off, I would be hiking, and so I recognized the walk into Harpers Ferry from the AT. I recognized it, and I was dancing down the trail. We went past the cemetery that I walked past every day on the way to the office. I actually walked a half mile along the AT every day just to get to the office where I worked when I worked in Harpers Ferry. I walked past this church, this iconic, beautiful church, and my favorite view in Harpers Ferry, the one of what I call the toilet sign. And then we were off down the road to the ATC. We made it to the ATC. I just couldn't believe it. I hadn't laid eyes on this building in 4 years since I was taking pictures of thru-hikers making their way down the trail. And now I was here for myself to get my own picture, to put my own picture in the book here at the Harpers Ferry Appalachian Trail Conservancy. Most of the ATC was exactly as I had remembered it from 4 years ago, but there were a few things that were different. And the biggest thing that was different was that my picture was now in the book. And yeah, I just can't describe how much that meant to me. But we couldn't stay at the ATC forever, so then of course I went and found a treat at a spot that wasn't actually there when I was there. It was a new spot to me called Bolivar Bread, and they had some delicious treats for me to enjoy. Then I took Barbie to one of my favorite spots from when I lived there, Kelly Farm Kitchen, which is a vegan spot, but it is so good. You don't have to be vegan to enjoy it. I absolutely loved their food when I lived there, and these nachos that Barbie and I enjoyed were to die for. They were so yummy, even for him, who he was skeptical of it being vegan. But they're awesome, and if you're ever in Harpers Ferry, you should definitely go check them out. Another moment with the ATC before we headed to our hostel for the night. My first boba in 3 months. It's a beautiful thing. This was not good boba, my friends. And then we continued walking down a piece of the trail that I was oh so familiar with. We headed across the bridge and we headed towards the AT and the C&O Canal, a piece of the trail that I had ran many times when I was here. This place was home for 4 months, and so it felt like coming home again being a thru-hiker on this piece of the trail. And I was super excited that we were going to take a 0 in Harpers Ferry so that I could wander and reminisce in this place that was so important to my Appalachian Trail story and journey. I'm so proud of how far I've come in the last 4 years and that I'm here.